What is the fastest growing language in the UK?
Emoji.
It is emoji.
In which I happen to be fluent.
Oh, laughing face, crying face, poo?
Would you like to explain what it is, Ian?
It's not language, is it? It's people putting little drawings on texts.
People using symbols to create communication. Yeah, it's not a language.
Shall we have a look at some popular emojis?
Yes.
Popular emojis.
Here's one.
Oh. That's crying face.
Yeah, crying with laughter.
Crying with laughter, yeah.
What about this one?
Oh, is he winking?
He is winking.
Oh, wink.
My own particular favourite, ghost with black eye. Carrie, do you seem fluent?
I am fluent, definitely. In
What
emoji.
is ghost with black eye?
It's just like, woo.
But there's no accentuation on it. I can't tell whether it's woo, woo, or woo.
Well, when the emojis take over and you're filling out your CV in
They're
emojis...
raced now.
Yes.
Oh, my God, the emojis are coming. Don't tell UKIP.
When the future...
You're not alone here, Kai. I am on board with emojis.
Thanks.
If you write all day, the last thing you want to do in the evening is superfluous writing.
You could go out or talk.
If you text me, Ian, saying, do you want to go out, I'd say, woo. And then you wouldn't know what it meant, so it wouldn't happen.
No, it wouldn't happen anyway.
Oh, snubbed by Ian Hislop.
No, not snubbed. I don't know what a text is.
Maybe you should ask someone else on the panel, wink face. Sorry, I'm not really... I don't actually use emojis myself, unless, of course, it's an absolute emergency. Oh, come on.
Good, I like that.
Goldman Sachs, they've been caught out, and the Americans are charging them with fraud. Goldman Sachs invented a bond to sell to people, which was based on subprime mortgages. So it was a pretty hopeless thing to sell to people. But they designed it to lose money, because one of their other clients was a big hedge fund manager who were betting on the bond to lose. So Goldman Sachs were selling this bond to you, saying this is terrific, and behind the back going to one of their clients, bet on this is complete rubbish. So Goldman Sachs basically proved that the entire financial collapse wasn't just an act of God or an accident, it was a fraud.
Can I just interrupt at this point?
Yeah.
Because I should make it plain, the law being as it is.
Yes.
Goldman calls the charges completely unfounded in law and fact.
What does Sachs say?
Yes. He completely
What can
agrees
you
with
do?
him.
You get caught, you get caught.
Frankly, I can't see any of this making it into the finished programme.
Are you worried about libel?
Yes. Unlike you, I haven't ever been done for it before.
I think there's very little chance of you getting any more than 2 years.
Yeah. And anyway, Karen, backstage
gear.
she was saying what a bunch of crooks Goldman Sachs.
You could present your programme from your cell. The mission could be to walk from one end to the other in the shortest possible time.
Staying on the subject
Yeah.
of
Yes,
the
let's.
paranormal. Yeah. Who else recently revealed that they had seen a ghost?
The sexy leader.
Boxer Alex Salmond.
Yes, it was Alex Salmond. He told reporters,
Nowhere to go.
I have seen a photo, which I know was not forged or created, that will give anyone serious thought about these things.
The man currently on a train to Devon. Hello there. Would you like to see my SN penis?
Oh,
So this is the apparition in a Torquay museum that's been dubbed Britain's sexiest ghost. The museum manager claimed the haunted exhibit is Devon's only human mummy. And having seen some of the mums in Plymouth, I think he might be right.
Next, Peter Adams analyses Reginald's what?
It's got to be bonsai, isn't it?
Oak. Peter Adams analyses Reginald's tree and finds it isn't bonsai, it's just very far away.
No, it was bonsai. It was Peter Adams analyses Reginald's bonsai. Here's Peter Adams in Bonsai Focus. That's his actual size, obviously. Several celebrities own bonsai trees, such as Ronnie Corbett. He likes a bit of shade.
Does Tom Cruise have a bonsai as well?
Hey, don't slag Tom off, all right?
It was just a normal-sized tree.
Leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's suffered enough.
Did you go and see him because you're going to have a remake of Twins, the Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger film?
You should remake all of Arnie's films, actually.
You have been well and truly rumbled.
The Terminator.
Yeah.
I'll be back. I'm telling you that. I will be back. I'll bloody be back. I'll tell you that. I'll be back.
Big commando facing all those people. Oh, watch it, lads. Someone's going to get hurt.
Is there any other impressions you do other than me?
I do Tony Blair, but then I sound like him anyway.
Offend someone in Tony Blair's voice.
You know...
That's it, I'm offended.
Next, huge duck army. What?
Huge duck army absolutely massacres tiny duck army. Faces massive bill.
Huge duck army patrols South African vineyard. This is a vineyard in South Africa that uses an army of 800 ducks to control pests. Next, 18-foot-long cucumber. What?
Does not bother woman with 19-foot corridor.
18-foot-long cucumber available for events. The Cucumber Growers Association.
Oh, that must be the finale for the Daffodil Festival.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Is that real?
It looks a bit like a dirigible.
It's got a handle in the middle of it, look.
Yeah.
It's as if they're going to pick it up there and...
break down the doors of a massive salad.
Next, bald men on high alert. What?
As seagulls target pates.
Good enough.
What?
Yes. Bald men on high alert as marauding owl attacks. It is a bird one. This is about an owl terrorising people in Devon. One bald victim of the so-called terror owl was Richard Clevedon Smith, who reluctantly agreed to recreate the incident for the local paper.
I see that in the photograph behind him, the local Beatles tribute band are
Restaging the cover to Abbey Road.
Finally, parachuting beavers, what in the 1940s?
Was a popular euphemism.
For what?
Invading Crete.
Creek?
Crete.
Oh.
Oh, sorry, you were on a beaver theme.
I thought you were calling sex invading the creek, and I loved that. I loved that.
Well, we can do a retake if you like.
It's a more interesting answer than the rather obvious.
Parachuting beavers killed 15 civilians in the 1940s.
Were they trained by MI5?
Yeah, but you can't direct the parachuting beaver. Once he's out there, he's out there.
Good for all those German dams, though.
Parachuting beavers imitated Churchill. We are parachuting beavers.
Parachuting beavers thrown out of planes in the 1940s. An historian in the US state of Idaho has unearthed a video of the Great Beaver Trip of 1948, a relocation plan for the state's beavers. Here it is.
Now into the air and down they swing, box opens, and a most unusual and novel trip ends for Mr. Beaver.
What? How can it be cheaper to drop them from planes rather than just take them in a car and just there you are? I'm not flying EasyJet again, thanks very much. Hello, boy.
What happens if the box doesn't open when they hit the ground as well?
They're beavers.
So to round 2, the jigsaw of news. Buzz when you know what it is. Paul and Jess.
That's an emu. And it's on the run in Scotland. It's been seen in Aberdeen, Perth and Dundee. It runs at about 35 miles an hour and nobody can catch it. They can't try to put a saddle on it. The Archbishop of Edinburgh has been lowered down on a helicopter to try and get onto its back. So essentially that's what it is.
Do you know its name?
Louis.
He's one half of a duo of emus named Bonnie and Clyde. And it's Clyde. Where did Clyde escape from?
A zoo in Edinburgh or somebody's house?
It was a petting zoo at a care home in the Scottish village of Ecclefechan. Which I think is actually what the zookeeper muttered when he found the emu was gone.
Yeah.
What's Ecclefechan renowned for?
Its inability to cage wild birds.
Tarts.
Beg your pardon?
The Ecclefechan tart is a sort of open-top mince pie which originates from Ecclefechan. Clyde is not the first emu to go on the run in Scotland recently. Would you like to see an emu running along the A82?
Yeah, is it Julian Assange, the emu? I don't think I would, actually.
Can we have a vote on this?
Yeah, we should have a vote. Who wants to see an emu running down the road? Everybody. Everybody.
All right, quick look at the emu. Where was it going?
We know there's a coyote behind it. Where was it going? Well, I don't know, whichever way that road is. Aberdeen.
Well, it was a trick question because I didn't tell you which way along the A82 it was going. It was going away from Loch Ness towards Glasgow.
Are you auditioning some new quiz format?
This is the surprising news about an emu at a petting zoo in Scotland. The emu was spotted running down the A82 at 25 miles an hour, but was still overtaken by a local man who realised he'd left his change on the table at a little chef in the Trossachs. Fingers on buzzers, teams. Here's another one. Paul and Jess.
This is Amazon and these sort of voice recognition systems that use female voices, and some people have complained that this might be a sexist, stereotypical thing because women, as the stereotype might go, are always telling men what to do. Is it something like that? Is that the sort of idea behind
it? I mean, the report from UNESCO says that the default female voice normalises the idea that women are subservient, docile helpers that are available at the touch of a button.
I do know, I mean, you know, with the satellite nav most people now have in their cars, when they first came out about 15 years ago, the research showed that most men didn't want to do what a man was telling them.
Mine's Snoop Doggy Dog.
Is it?
My sat-nav, yeah.
How'd you get him to do that?
He's not got a lot on, really. Yeah.
And he knows the Birmingham area really well.
He really does. I think it's a load of rubbish, people being upset about whether it's a man or a woman's voice, really.
Yeah, I don't think the worst problem of sexism in the modern era is that Siri speaks with a female voice.
No.
It's actually a male voice in this country anyway, but... What voice does your Siri have?
You've got the voice of Gladstone on yours. I'm afraid that hasn't yet been invented, sir.
And what happened this week to show that things haven't changed quite as much as they might have done?
Oh, there was a female producer who didn't take the job that she was offered because she was found that she was getting £12,000 less than a man who was doing exactly the same job. That's
right. Karen Martin, a BBC News producer, was offered the job of deputy editor for the BBC radio newsroom, and a man was also offered it, and she was offered £12,000 less. Even though, as she said in her email explaining why she was turning it down, they were offered the same job on the same day after the same board during the same recruitment process.
Will the BBC never learn? How many times do we have to say, pay us the same as people with balls?
Thank God, Jess, that you and I are both getting 20 grand for this appearance. That's right, isn't it?
You've got other things against you that means they wouldn't pay you as... together, Flower.
I'll leave you with news that on a bridge in Aberdeenshire, Nicola Sturgeon is annoyed at another passerby shouting "Fandabadozi." The owner of one of Britain's best-known stately homes appalls visitors with his lewd behaviour. After pressure from the party, Nigel Farage agrees to take a break over summer to get fit. And after hearing about her son's historic meeting, the Queen also offers her hand to Gerry Adams. What?
Here's the next one. Fingers back on buzzers. Zoe.
Well, it's a guy who spent a year and a half trying to recreate the flavour of KFC at home. And he's been experimenting with the 11 different herbs and spices and has finally cracked the code to create KFC at home. And he's put it on YouTube and people are so happy because they miss it, because they're missing restaurants. So once a week at home, because we can't go out and eat in restaurants, I try and create a sort of holiday-style taverna at home for me and the missus. I'll play the waiter, she plays the customer. I'll ignore her for about an hour and a half, then I'll bring her something she didn't want, and then I'll overcharge her at the end. And it just really feels like we've had a nice night out.
Yeah, this is Dan Fell from Warwickshire, who's been labelled a modern-day hero by the Daily Mail this week for recreating the KFC fried chicken recipe in his own kitchen. It took him 18 months. Zoe, 11 herbs and spices, do you know what they are?
Creosote. I know what a lot of them are, right? There's paprika, ginger, pepper, white pepper, salt, I can never say it, oregano.
Oregano? It sounds like half the Wombles are in there.
What food is nurse Claire Stewart? Here she is, now obsessed with, and why?
Oh, goodness. I'm going to say beetroot, only because I've got 5 in my own cupboard.
You got 5 beetroot in your cupboard?
I've got 5 beetroot. I sort of panic bought beetroot.
You panic bought beetroot and I rushed out to the shops and got this. This gives me hours of pleasure, this does.
I bet it does.
She told The Sun that after a life-saving stem cell transplant, despite never tasting the snack before, she was left with an addiction for pickled onion flavour Monster Munch.
Oh, yeah.
We need to self-isolate her.
I'll swap her a beetroot for a bag of pickle flavoured...
Ah, you see, there we are. That's the currency of the future, beetroot. Get what you like with 5 beetroot.
You can.
This is the news that a Warwickshire man has come up with his own recipe for KFC. Now he's got to master the harder trick of convincing people that a tiny pot of 12 baked beans can really be called a portion. Also in the news, it emerged that members of the House of Lords are unhappy with the quality of the food that's been on offer there. The Times revealed that Lord Naseby put 6 official questions about snacks to the chair of the House of Lords Services Committee. That's his mistake. He should be asking the Master of the Rolls. The Sun also revealed that another unpopular choice in the House of Lords is ladyfingers. Don't think I've ever heard ladyfingers speak in the Lords. In other food news, a man was arrested for doing 110 miles per hour on the M1 while travelling from Nottingham to London to buy a loaf of bread because it was £1 cheaper. True. The arresting officer reached for his baton, which the driver then offered to buy off him. Anyone want to see a dog owner trying to trick their pet into eating carrots?
Yes.
From Waitrose and Partners. Christmas chocolate selection, 240 grams, was £10, no £5. 6 months matured Christmas pudding,
And we start with Gary the cat has eyebrows that what?
Distract you from the fact that Gary is a ridiculous name for a cat.
I've got a cat called Colin.
Well, that doesn't mean that it's OK, does it? Are you serious? Colin?
Yeah.
So when he's out, you open the door and go, Colin! People just think you're looking for a bloke. There's no way they think Colin's a cat.
Well, the judge believed me.
Gary the cat has eyebrows that always make him look confused. Here is Confused Kicker.
He's probably thinking, why the hell am I called Gary?
To be cheerful.
Yeah, no, come on, reasons to be cheerful.
The Stop Brexit man will be back after Christmas, and Aldi are doing this.
Is that before or after you've eaten it?
There's a 2-metre-long pig in blanket. Look at that.
Wow.
Actually, bad news, it's sold out.
David Cameron bought them all, did he?
How did the great statesman James Cleverly sum up the evening?
Is this the Tory party chairman? I do love his name.
Here he is talking to Conservative activists.
This is the most successful political movement in the history of mankind.
Well, start as you mean to go on.
And that's not just his opinion, that's the opinion of Fact Check UK.
We like a bit of ambition in the party. We're going to unleash Britain's and James's potential.
Right, that won't take long.
Boris thinks the BBC are biased against him. You could argue that ITN's Tom Bradby didn't look too impressed with the events of the evening. Here he is signing off at the end of his stint last night.
Over to Piers and Susanna at GMB.
What is oh dear Jeremy Corbyn going to do now?
Well, he can actually exceed his pledge and go beyond a 4-day week to now a 0-day week.
He said he's not going to fight the next general election. You barely fought this fight, to be honest. But he says he's going to lead the party through a period of reflection. Which, again, if you're talking about reflection, a mirror's good. Oh, you, yes, I resign.
It's important that he stays on with, you know, Seamus Milne and John Landsman and all these people to just work out... Like the scene in Titanic where the captain goes back into the control room. He needs to make sure exactly where we steer the wreckage of the Labour Party onto the ground of the ocean floor. It's got to be a guided, very gentle descent to the very depths of what is possible. I hope that it's OK now to criticise Jeremy Corbyn. It would seem like a good time now to say, can we lay some of the blame at the door of a man who is in charge of protecting the most vulnerable people in the country and has left them absolutely firmly in the shit for 5 years?
How did Guardian fashion journalist Jess Cartner-Morley put the final nail in the avocado's coffin? She said avocado is too reminiscent of the 70s bathroom suite. The Pantone charts of today are all moody leaden greys, chalky whites, blues, every other shade.
You mocked her speaking style.
Oh, I did, yes. But I also cut a word that I can't pronounce. Every other shade of green has had its day in the Fashion Week sun. Apple, emerald, jade, even school uniform bottle. There you go. Do you know how the avocado gets its name?
Yes. It's a cross between two plants called an avo and a cardo.
It's an old Aztec word, aguacate, which means testicle. It does. Shall we have a quick game of avocado or testicle?
No! No!
Sir, there may be certain medical complaints that would confuse the issue.
I'll show you a picture and I want you to tell me what's happened to it since the picture was taken to make it newsworthy. And I use the term newsworthy fairly loosely. So here's your first one.
Oh, this is a dumper truck and somebody, I'm sure somebody has filled it up to be a hot tub, haven't they, during the lockdown?
Maisie, you are across the news that counts, aren't you? This is Yorkshire builder Dave Eastwood, who turned his dumper truck into a hot tub. Here it is. Paul, what's the main advantage of having a hot tub in a dumper truck, do you think?
Well, it's better than having a dump in a hot bath. I don't know.
Well, according to Dave, the best part is you can drive it round so it's always in the sun. You just have to drive it slowly so the water doesn't spill. Yeah, never mind your missus, Dave. Ian, how did Dave create the bubbles in his hot tub?
I think my previous answer established that, didn't it?
Is it bottled water?
According to Yorkshire Live, Dave uses shower gel and a hand drill.
Wow.
Join Dave next week where he'll be making a back massager out of a jackhammer. So this is Yorkshire builder Dave Eastwood, who turned a dumper truck into a hot tub. I've also gone to extreme lengths to keep my wife happy during lockdown. I've moved into the garage. Builder Dave filled his rusty dumper truck with water and shower gel and created bubbles using the plastering attachment of a hand drill. Despite all that, he's still been declared the most romantic man in Yorkshire. OK, so fingers on buzzers or whatever you're doing. The question is, what's happened to this? Go on, Ian.
Cadbury's have changed their logo. They've paid a huge amount of money to redesign their logo so that it says something completely different. Here's some chocolate.
Yes, well, this is the news that after 50 years, Cadbury has decided to change its logo in a major brand refresh. So this is the old logo. Now, shall we have a look at the brand new logo, which some advertising experts have said can't have been cheap? Boom!
Oh, I hardly recognised it.
No, I thought this was ridiculous because it looked so similar to the old one. But then I read around some of the industry publications and they explained that for £1 million you change the whole global footprint of the brand. And I still thought it was completely ridiculous.
But I did read Cadbury saying it wasn't £1 million, it was just hundreds and thousands.
Oh dear. Yes, well done.
Look at Paul's face.
Cadbury's don't make hundreds and thousands. The joke is flawed.
It's Captain Logic.
Why can't you let Ian have his moment, Paul?
Well, if he started letting him have moments like that, there'll be no end to it.
Yeah, I'll be doing panto.
Jokes with punchlines that don't make any sense.
Well, Cadbury's have apparently officially denied that it cost them £1 million. They didn't come up with the hundreds and thousands gag because apparently they said it wouldn't really make sense.
Exactly. And if they've paid £1 million for it, I mean, that figure's out of this world. Oh, no, sorry, that's Galaxy. See, now that's a joke, Ian. That's a joke.
Look, all that happened is the, very overpaid consultants, and they were asked to find a new angle on it. If you look at the picture, they have. It's about 45 degrees.
Ian, before I laugh at that, can I just get verification from Paul that makes logical sense?
No, I think that was just a general comment. I don't think it was meant as humour.
I love this. Paul's become a sort of VAR of logical jokes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, complete vasted.
A Cadbury spokesman said, this is part of a much wider brand refresh, which will touch all of Cadbury's visual assets. I'll be honest, since lockdown, I can't stop touching Cadbury's visual assets. In exciting news, guys, I've got a bonus point on offer. On the new dairy milk packaging, the glass and a half of milk is pouring into a chunk of chocolate. What was the glass and a half of milk pouring into on the old chocolate wrapper?
Was it being poured in down the throat of a lactose-intolerant toddler?
No, it's actually poured into the eye of the word milk.
Oh.
There you go.
I think it's cleverer that it pours into the eye.
Is that another reference to your magazine?
With any luck.
So, this is the news that Cadbury has unveiled its first new logo in 50 years. A spokesman for Cadbury said they wanted to review the brand image. We only wish we had your problems, said the head of marketing for Corona Beer.
Can anyone tell me what this story from the week's news is in emoji?
There was a couple of guys who wanted to celebrate getting married together, and they wanted a cake, and this was in Northern Ireland, I believe, and the catering firm were very angry. They said they couldn't do this, but there's a court case, and they have to do it because they have to be open to anybody that wants a cake sort of made, so they can't sort of say you can't have your cake.
That's correct. Let's have a look at a picture of the cake. Beautiful.
This judgment is probably going to be reviewed. It is the equivalent of going into a Muslim-owned cake shop and saying, I'd like you to have a face of the Prophet on the cake. You're open for business, make me the cake. Otherwise, it's against the law. So this is creating quite a difficult area. It's freedom of expression versus freedom of religion, which, again, is difficult to explain in emojis.
So why Bert and Ernie?
Well, I hate to tell you, Frank. I hate to be the one to break it to you, but they're together.
Yeah, it's that kind of talk that ruins people's careers. Do you know that Sesame Street have issued an official statement on this incident? Absolutely true.
Bert and Ernie are not officially gay.
They've said Bert and Ernie are best friends. They are not gay, they are not straight, they are poppets. They added, they do not exist below the waist.
What?
Yeah. God, I feel their pain. A judge in Belfast has ruled that a Christian-run bakery was wrong to refuse an order for a cake with the slogan "Support Gay Marriage." The Christian bakery specialises in cakes and so bakes only 5 loaves of bread a day. But thanks to a joint promotion with the fishmonger next door, they still have 5,000 happy customers. After winning the case, cake lover and gay activist Gary Lee said he'd be celebrating tonight with a candle in his brownie.